Hey guys, Sean Bougie, Sunday afternoon, running to Lowe's, so I apologize for my appearance. It's been a rough yard work day. That's kind of my, that and going to the range is my way to get rid of stress, so been one of those days. This is going to be an important video for you guys because of what's happening in the market, and I know you're seeing conflicting information right now. So I want to give you some insight into what's going on with the housing market right now. What you're seeing right now is completely opposite reports. You're seeing it's settling down, it's slowing down, inventory's building up, and we're going to start to see a slight adjustment where the appreciation will be there, but not quite as strong as it has been. It's basically settling down. And what they're going off of is end of June, mid-June to now numbers. Okay, June numbers and the numbers that are starting to come in now. In July, this is 2021. This is why I completely disagree with that. What they're not factoring in is the global view. And what I mean by that, the global view, would also take into account what's happened over the past year. Well, in the past year, everyone has put off trips. Everyone has put off concerts. There was none to go to. There were no trips you could go to. You were completely, it was a lockdown, right? So this year, what you're seeing, and I'll give you, this is my personal experience. What you're seeing right now is people are going nuts and they're making up for lost time as far as taking trips. People were basically staying at their own home and not doing anything for a year. They're tired of it. I booked a trip, to give you an example. I booked a trip in February to Vegas because things were starting to open up, and I booked it for a May trip. The reason I booked it is the flights were ridiculously low, and I was able to get an insanely nice Bellagio room for what I could have gotten an MGM Grand room before. Okay, those who've been to Vegas, you know, Bellagio is way higher. I mean, it was just the deal of the century. When we got there, it was full. Vegas was back, basically. So you've got all these people doing that, and now what they're doing, the guys that are giving you these snapshots, these monthly snapshots, are they're saying, oh, it's slowing down. No, it's not. Here's what's really happening, because rates are extremely low right now. I'm also going to let you know what needs to happen to continue to kind of spur things on, and you're going to be surprised. But it comes from me being a realtor since late '93, real estate agent and a real estate broker in North Carolina. I still have a real estate license, broker's license. I still have a real estate firm. This is experience talking to you, so I need you to hear me on this. Is you're not looking at the big picture. The big picture is the buyers are doing something else right now. You have a lot less buyers looking. You also have buyers, frankly, that are fed up with having to try to settle on a home that still needs a lot of work, and they're still going to have to bid 20, 30, depending on the price range, 20, 30, $40,000 higher than asking price. They're kind of done with that, okay? Now they're going to come back from their trip, and there's going to be a change, a big change. So I don't see the slowdown that's being predicted, not this suddenly anyway. So here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a prediction, and I'm going to give you a way to watch this in a way that's going to give you a little more sanity in looking at what's going on with the market. So when they look at the market, they're looking at year-over-year numbers. Look carefully at that report. If you're watching a report that says that everything's slowing down, look carefully on it. Because if you really read the numbers, not all the numbers say that. A lot of the numbers say it's still going strong. It may not be appreciating at the same rate, but it's still going extremely strong. Yes, days on the market are going up a little bit, but guys, that's because the buyers are out of town. And they're going to be through the end of July. We are not going to see a major change, and this is what you guys need to watch. You need to watch, because right now, the forbearance issue, where people were allowed to get into forbearance, with their mortgage. In other words, get behind on their mortgage and it get tacked on the end without it impacting their credit, taking advantage of that, at least with government-backed loans. And a lot of the banks jumped in and said, we'll do the same thing, even though we're not government-backed. That's coming to an end, at least with the statute, with the law that they enacted. That's coming to an end in September. Now, if they kick that can down the street, it's going to be a little longer that impacts us. I don't think that they're going to kick that can down the street. I think they're getting far too much blowback from banks on that. So I do think that that's going to hit. When that does, we're going to have a slight, I'm going to call it a windfall, not a foreclosure issue, a windfall, because it's a couple of million people, which sounds like a lot. It's not. It's not. We're talking about, 40,000 homes a state if it's 2 million houses hitting the foreclosure. I mean, there's almost 100. There's almost 100 counties in North Carolina alone. I know that it's not evenly distributed, but if you were to evenly distribute that, it would be nothing. So, just so you know, that's going to be a blip, and frankly, I think the investors are going to just swallow that whole when it hits without an issue. Okay? So what you need to watch right now is the Case-Shiller Index. Case-Shiller Index is a 3-month rolling average. So what that does is when you have a slight drop or even a kind of a large drop, it kind of evens that out because it looks at 3 months rolling average. Now, if you have a major adjustment, which I don't think we're going into, then the Case-Shiller kind of hides that a little bit, so you don't want to watch that. But right now we're not looking at a major adjustment. We're looking at historically low rates. We're looking at employment is going to pick up dramatically because the federal government has been screwing with it by giving extra unemployment benefits, is going to stop that. When they do, people are going to have to work instead of sit at home. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal, and it's something that's going to seriously impact what's going on right now. Employers are going to have a lot better time finding people. Customer service is going to go back up. Everybody out there that's done anything in the retail world recently knows that customer service sucks right now. That's going to turn around. But watch the Case-Shiller. Now, having said that, come September, if they did not kick the can further down, as far as saying, oops, we're going to allow you to use forbearance longer. If they don't do that, if they say, no, this is going to happen, then I would not watch the Case-Shiller for that month and probably the following 2 months, because you don't want to watch a rolling average. You want to watch exactly what's happening while we're seeing an adjustment. That's a big deal too. So right now, I'd look at the Case-Shiller, or I'd look at their numbers deeply. It makes me angry when I read these. It's always clickbait. It's always them trying to get headlines. Oh, the market's starting to cool off. Then you look at the numbers that they present, and they don't tell that story. They tell a dramatically different story. So be careful when you're seeing that, guys. Having said that, there are two programs we have: the Deed Flip, National Deed Flip and Deed Flip 30, and the Surplus Funds program that are going to be extremely impacted to the good by this upcoming foreclosure hit. First of all, there's going to be more to go after in the Deed Flip, and then obviously there'll be more overages created on the Surplus Funds program, the overage program. So I do think there's going to be a big uptick. Now, one of the things I get asked a lot is, Sean, why do you offer multiple programs? Why do you offer a program to go after the property before the foreclosure hits? That's our National Deed Flip, going after property pre-foreclosure, and our Deed Flip 30. Why do you offer those in addition to the surplus? Why don't you just stick to one deal? Why do you have to be, more than one? Why do you have to have more than one angle here? I don't have to. But we started with Deed Flips, and we bumped into overages. We were flipping property, and that's how we found out about overages and created our own system. We didn't buy somebody else's system. We didn't repackage it or whatever. We didn't do any of that, okay? We figured out how to do that on our own. But here's the beauty. So if you go after property pre-foreclosure, mortgage or tax, and you don't make a deal prior to that foreclosure hitting, okay, what you've done is you've eliminated, first of all, you've researched the debt against the property, and you've eliminated the wrong phone numbers and addresses, and you may have even had a conversation with the person. Now the foreclosure hits, you know what it sold for. You've already done the research on how much debt was against it, so you know if there's an overage before there's even an overage listed on a list somewhere, right? So now you can go after it as an overage, and you know about it before anybody else. So that makes sense to me. There's a synergy here. You're going after it pre-foreclosure, and you're going after it after that foreclosure hits, because there was an overage in a lot of cases created. So you're getting two shots at the same deal, and you've already researched your debt. Do you need to double check that again if it's been a couple months? Maybe give that a shot, make sure there wasn't something else put into place, but there probably wasn't. If they were going into foreclosure, no one's going to lend them money, okay? So having said that, that is why we do that. Also, really watch the case Schiller right now. Come September, depending on what the feds do, I would think about just looking at a month by month. Now, having said all of that, what we really need to see is rates to pop up a little bit, even if it's choppy. Any realtor worth their salt, or real estate agent or broker worth their salt, loves it when rates are choppy, because it makes people jump off the fence. They're like, oh my God, if it goes up a half a point, I won't qualify. That happens a lot. So right now, I would love to see a little bit of chop. And the feds don't understand that. They don't understand how the market actually works. But if they were to raise it just a little tiny bit and threaten it going up a little more, it would create even more of a buying frenzy. It's a takeaway close at the federal level, right? Oopsie, you're not going to be able to get this rate anymore. Oh my God. Boom, they're going to hit it. And you're also going to see a run on refis of those people that were wondering, they've got a point higher than normal, or than what's the market right now. You'd see people jumping in like that. Mortgage lenders will tell you the same thing. Whenever you see a movement 3/4 of a point either direction, it's a big deal, and it creates a ton of opportunity in mortgages. And in buyers, obviously. Buyers jump the fence. Hope this has helped. Hope you have a great day.